Tonight, Jason Young stops by. We look at our favorite photos from the week. We talk about our pre-orders, what we're waiting for, what we're most excited about, and we'll probably talk about what pre-orders pissed us off too. But all that's coming up and more. So, cue the intro. What's up, toy community? Welcome to the inaugural episode of Between Two Sentinels. I am Jay Shot. Jay's hot if you like pineapple on pizza. And with me, of course, is the one, the only Matchutoy.
Hello, everybody.
I mean, so this is a good show, right? I mean, this is a show with really well-established photographer and me. So this will be great. It'll be a really great way. What?
I'm not that established. I just got lucky.
One of us has 13,000 followers. The other one has less than 800. So anyway, we've been talking about doing this for a while, so I'm pretty excited to be doing this. Nothing I love more than talking, and unfortunately, nothing I love more than talking while I've been battling a flu. But we'll power through, and thankfully, our guest has a much better voice than both of us, so we should be good. But yeah. So, what you got going on there, man?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm excited about our guest. I just did a shot yesterday with the Four Horsemen, the Furious Four from the Legions Con Day 2.
Legions Con Day 2, yeah.
That was fun.
I've been playing with Legions Con Day 1 exclusive.
Yeah.
For some reason, the Plunderling's bat is my favorite acceptor with him. I don't know why.
Their weapons are interchangeable. You can use Plunderling weapons with Mythic Legions and Mythic Legions weapons with Plunderlings.
Things people didn't know. Can we also use Plunderling heads? I don't know. Does that work?
No, but you could use Plunderling heads on Mezcos.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know, actually.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Now that you know that fact, I think we should bring in our guest.
I don't know.
Oh. I do like that.
I think that's the mashup nobody asked for. Anyway, things people do ask for is our guest. So why don't we just go ahead and bring in Jason Young of Work More or Less.
Hello, gentlemen.
Oh, see? The butter.
I could just watch you guys head swap all day.
I mean,
how's it going? Yeah.
It's going, man.
How you guys doing?
It's good to see you again. We were just saying we actually haven't seen each other for a while.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Too long.
Too long for sure. And luckily we had the privilege of being with you in person back in, what did we decide? It was April
of this year.
May.
Yeah. Feels like so long ago.
I can't believe it was this year. I forget how long ago that was. But we had privilege of working with Jason on a project where we were shooting 112 miniature town for the company I work for, which was really, really cool. And Brian of hold on, I was trying to remember how to say it. Beyond the Devil in the Deep Blue Sea.
Very good.
Oh, is that what it stands for?
Yeah, Beyond the Devil. Yeah, BT. Yeah, BTB. Yeah, whatever it is. Beyond the Devil in the Deep Blue Sea is the guy who made those pieces. And they're stunning, and it's pretty epic to see it in life, or in person, I should say. So,
I was blown away because for those not familiar with Brian's work, he does these mostly like structures, so buildings and things, but they look like they've come straight from like the X-Men cartoon, right? So they're very, very geometric, very bright and vivid. When you see a photo of them, it just looks like it's from a cartoon, right? Yeah, like this. Of course. There you go. There's the actual buildings.
Yeah.
And so seeing the shots of his work before just on Instagram was one thing. Seeing them in hand and the quality and like how sturdy those buildings are and how big they are, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work. And they just look fantastic, especially for what we were doing. I mean, they look great with photos, but video, you were shooting like down the, we basically built these different configurations of the street and had the camera like flying through.
I think that was the most fun when we were just brainstorming on how we can set up.
What fell? Oh, what went down?
I don't know.
Not the Sentinel.
No.
No, it wasn't a Sentinel, but it's something. Oh, it was a Mythic Legion.
Okay.
Nah,
It's on the bottom shelf, so I'm not really worried. So
that's good.
it's the top shelf that I'm always worried about.
It was a figure, not a shelf. So
not a
good.
shelf.
Not a shelf.
By the way, that looks really, really fantastic. I know you've been working on that for a while, and it's evolved over time. But I love that. The lighting, everything.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Very. I'm also inspired by your setup too. You have like a very good setup. Every time you're on somebody else's stream, it's very different. It's never really the same.
I like to change it up, and it's funny because right now it feels put together, but to me, I like have a vision for what I want to do, and I'll just show you right now, actually.
Yeah.
So
I'll give you.
I love, just like all of us, right? I love being able to have figures that we just collect, like Black Series, Marvel Legends, and just have those set up however you want to display them. But then there's also like the packaging, and there's so much like packaging artwork that looks beautiful, and the retro stuff, like the original toys that I have. We've had some that are still on cards, and so I was like, I want to display those just as much as I want to display like just the other figures. So let's see if this focuses. Hey, it does.
Yeah, I still got it.
I love
Genius.
The idea of being able to hang these up like they're on pegs in the store. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take pegboard and cover this entire wall from that side to that side. And what that's going to allow me to do is be able to, basically it's a modular wall, right? Yeah. So the functionality of that is I can put up stuff like this, or I can take the stuff down. I could put up shelves if I wanted to put up just artwork, or I can just always kind of change it around however I want.
Yeah.
And to me, that's really exciting because I'm always, and maybe you guys are the same way, where it's like you have your display up, it's there for a while. You're like, okay, I've got new things. I want to change it up, move some other things in, move some things out. I recently just actually had all of my Hot Toys in this Detolf Fear, and I just pulled them all out, put them back in boxes. I'm like, I'm going to open these back up in a few months, and when I open them, I'm going to have just as much excitement as I did when I first opened them. So just like swapping things out and changing things up a little bit just keeps it exciting. And I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun with just kind of playing around with the collection and display currently. So
I love the idea of the pegboard, and I especially love the idea of like, even if you just put the figures that you have to open, right? Like they're right there.
Yeah.
And then you're right? If you put the pegboard up, you probably get pegboard shelves. The figures weigh nothing, right? So it's not like you got to worry about it pulling off the wall.
No.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, pegboard is not anything new or genius. I mean, by any means, in a lot of garages and things. But I was like, man, that would just be cool because it's functional. But then also, it feels like when you hang them up like this, it feels like you're in a store, a toy store.
Right.
So just that whole like feeling of that, it's like exciting. So we'll see. And so I've been buying up old
oh wow
carded yeah, right. I've been buying and finding these old carded figures, and when I find them for a decent price, and like they don't have to be like mint condition, but when I find them, I try to buy them, and I'm really enjoying that aspect.
Oh wow, look at
that slash.
You got a cover on that one though, right?
This is actually just a clamshell.
Clamshell, yeah.
So that's how it came. So I just decided to keep it in there, but it's a great shape.
Oh, so you got a collector?
Yeah, another collector had this, and I found it. It's like $90, which is actually a good deal because most of them are like 120, even more than that. It's crazy.
Wow. I've seen them go for 90 open, unfinished type of thing. Yeah. So that's really good.
And what's also fun is going back and learning, especially like with turtles. So I've got this slash right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my slash that I had as a kid. And what's interesting is that this one is really valuable because the belt is like purple with a red S, and there were so many like variations. So like with this one, this is more of a standard, really, or I guess one is a little more common. Right. So it's interesting going back and like finding all those little details out and finding out like, whoa, why is this figure worth several $1,000s or whatever? Oh, it's because this accessory or something makes it hard to find or whatever. So that's just fun, kind of re-experiencing that and realizing like, oh wow, the one that I had is actually one that is more valuable. So not that I'm going to do anything with it, but
so I wonder like, because like now I know they do releases, right? Like now you have chase figures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, so back in the day, did the purple belt just get released by accident? You know what I mean? Or like,
yeah,
was
right.
there reasoning behind it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I've got a book called Rad Plastic, and it I forgot who the people who put the book together.
Is that
But it
Narcell?
kind of just what's that?
Is that Narcell Toys? Is that what who put that
So
in?
I don't know if they've had anything to do with it, but basically it just goes through the kind of the product line of Turtles, and then shows like the wax casts that they do or the wax masters that they do casts from, and talk about some of those accessories and the vehicles. It's really, really interesting. So I like picking up those types of books too. There's like the Vintage Collection one. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Just like you were saying, just finding out all that information, those details about why things were done the way they were, or variations and things. So it's cool. It's interesting to kind of discover that now and be more interested in that now, obviously, than as a kid. Like, oh, this is a Jace, or this one has a different color belt.
We didn't care. The first time I remember like caring about like a misprint or anything like that was when was it Episode 1 Yoda came out? Remember when it was like Star Wars and it didn't say Episode 1 on it, and we all bought them thinking, I think I've got 3 of them in the back here somewhere. We all like, they're gonna be worth money someday, and it's like, nope, they're not. They never released one that actually said Episode 1 on it.
Yeah, and it is they've all like depreciated.
Yeah,
like 50%. Well, like these, like the Power of the Force ones,
right?
Like they're not worth anything, but I love them. Actually, I do have I do recall with that line, because that was kind of the craze. It was like, oh, we need to buy these, and since the original ones are worth so much, everybody's going to hoard these. And same with like the Phantom Menace ones, and obviously that didn't actually work, at least not with all of them. But anyway, I know the Boba Fett on this Power of the Force card, there were different versions of there's like a circle on his glove, and just like a brown circle. So if it's a full circle, it's one. If it's got a line down the middle, then it's more valuable. And so I was like, yeah, I've got that one.
my best friend growing up, his brother used to collect all of those, and he used to have like a like wall-to-wall display of them, like vanilla posed. And every time I came over, I would go into his room and I'd pose them all like into an epic battle scene.
Yeah.
Every
so like
time.
this.
Well, like no, but like
5 points.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the 5-point one.
Yeah.
Okay, because like I remember that they had a little more articulation in that size.
Maybe the Vintage Collection, the original.
No, it wasn't the Vintage Collection. It was like I was still in intermediate school, so I was like,
okay, yeah.
But like I would put like
this was like last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah. I've got some gray hairs. I'm
just messing, man. I wish we were that young.
But we wouldn't have this money to buy all these toys. I mean,
that's true.
We've got adult money.
It's true.
Yeah.
To buy everything from our childhood that we
Yeah. Think about all the money we would have if we didn't spend it on toys.
Well, we would spend it on other things, let's be fair. So
we wouldn't be as happy though.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And we wouldn't have met cool people like we're doing now.
This is very true. It's amazing how this community's brought a lot of us together, and like really great friendships that I value. So I agree.
I also want to add that like when we did our thing in April, March, that probably started an awesome year of just meeting people in the community.
Yeah, man.
Like me, Jay Shot and I would just go to cons and we'd meet with people in the area. We did like New Jersey Toy Con. We did New York Comic Con. We started meeting people like Dario from Toy Migos, Lago, all those people. And then like I went to Canada, met Kevin. He's awesome.
That looked like a fun trip. I'm always jealous whenever you guys post that obviously being in New York,
it's easier
to get to those cons, right? Yeah. So you're like, oh, you're meeting everybody. And like, man, I'm missing out.
You don't
come over, man. You come by. I got a place for you to stay. Don't worry.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, even like the last couple of weeks, right? Doing, Matt, to your point, we did New Jersey Con where we got to meet Toy Father and No Chewing and Toy Addict, and then Legion's Con, and meeting people like Chubsy, right? I mean, Chubsy's a character in himself. He's got his own action figure. We don't, so
and a store, right?
And a store. He's got his own store. Yeah, man loves
I'm
toys.
working on that. I'm working on it.
You're working?
I'm working on it, but I'm not going to sell them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Cool, man. So, I mean, Jason, you did another pretty epic Halloween shot. You're like becoming the king of Halloween on that. You working on anything now? You got anything brewing?
I do. So, I know one of the things we were going to talk about are like recent pickups. So I have an idea. I've got several ideas. It's hard, as you know, and I'm sure a lot of our friends who are watching, just making the time to sit down and shoot is challenging these days. It seems like a lot more so than it was a couple of years ago for some reason. But, life's busy. But I recently picked up, do we want to talk about a pickup?
Yeah,
because this is what I was inspired and I really want to shoot it. But the Foo-Ray Planet toys.
Oh,
Crocker or whatever they want to call him. I think his name Crocker. What's great about this figure is that he is.
I got to give you solo screen for this. I need to see that.
Okay. Yeah. This guy is crazy. It's a beast, literally, and it's huge. I had it on pre-order with Big Bad Toy Store. Oh, there we go. And it's still, it wasn't actually showing. I didn't know when I was going to get it. And then Kyle, what I got to do on Instagram, he was like, "Hey, this is on Amazon, so you should go snag it." So I canceled my pre-order at BBTS and then got it on Amazon, and it came like in 2 days. So really excited about that. I love alligators, and so this figure is amazing. What's cool about it is that this is Foo-Ray Toys, they made this figure so it kind of could work as a complement to Batman, like as Killer Croc, but then also as Leatherhead for Ninja Turtles, like it's more like realistic. And so it's come with like a vest and it has like a hat too. This guy it's really, really cool. So like all these, just the sculpting detail.
He looks like a beast. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And what's the design of this? So you can kind of see right here, this is like a neck piece. And so it's tilted to the side. There's another one that's flipped, so it's like going the opposite direction, I guess this way. And then one that's straight on. So then that way, instead of having like a big gap where his head would be, you swap out that neck piece if it's forward, left, or right. And so it looks it's got a little bit more of a natural kind of sculpt to it.
That's actually really smart. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah. So you don't have the floating thing.
Yeah.
I remember you and I were talking about it a little bit. The big thing you sold me on it was like, it's the perfect Leatherhead for the movie Turtles. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah. I think, let's see, actually, let's pull out Happy Raff and compare them just so you can see kind of the scaling.
It works.
Yeah. Not too bad, right?
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, this looks more realistic or like realistic kind of stylized. And this is a little bit more silly, but I want to do a shot with, he's posed in the shot and so is Batman like this.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of get an idea of what's going to be going on with that shot. So that's what I want to be working on. That's kind of what I have. It's posed. I don't know if that's how you work too, but if I've got an idea, get the figure, sit with them for maybe a couple of hours, or put them on my desk while I'm working, and then take breaks here and there, pose it out, and at that point, I'm like, okay, this pose will work, and let's see, whenever I get around to it, it's posed, ready to go. So now no excuse, just have to get the light set up and figure out what the scene is going to be, or the diorama pieces.
Right.
So I think I've got it figured out. That's kind of next on deck. Other than that, I think I've really just been enjoying collecting stuff and finding old figures. And when we go to the Pocket Fig, I'll show you something else that I picked up recently. Nice. I don't know. It's a little different. I guess it's evolved over time, where I started and I just wanted to do toy photography, and obviously started using more like Digirama for backgrounds. I don't do that as much now, which is kind of funny. Where I really started there, had the figure, was focusing more on the sculpt of the figure, try to make it look realistic, and then evolved to where it's like, hey, let's build some props. and include that with the figure and Digirama, etc. And kind of grew from there. Enjoyed really building scenes and things like that. And so now, like when I'm spending time on the shots, like the Halloween one that you kind of brought up, John,
Yeah.
I really enjoy bringing the scene together in whatever way that might be. And for the Halloween one, it's like creating a bunch of little accessories, making things from hand, pulling together all these diorama pieces to make a scene and just make things work. I think that challenge is what I'm really enjoying these days, more so than just pulling out a figure like, hey, this one looks cool, I want to shoot it.
Right.
It's really the challenge of building out a scene or some kind of concept that is a little bit more advanced than where I started. And so that just takes longer to do. So that's why I don't post as often. Also don't have as much time. So it's, it's kind of one of those things, but this one was fun. I did the one from Halloween last year and had a lot of fun with it. People responded really well.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend the time on one. Let's do another Halloween one. And now I'm like, okay, I think that's going to end up being an annual tradition. So
I love it.
I gotta figure out what to do for next year.
I'm going to look forward to it next year.
Yeah, I love your Halloween shots, and I love the way that you do the costumes, right? Like it's the nostalgia of the costumes. Even pulling the the turtle gang there.
Yeah, right.
Swapping out for the arms to make it like it's so smart.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like trying to figure out, okay, what do I have? What are the pieces that I have? Obviously, the trick or treater, Halloween 3 trick or treaters, little kids. That's what I started with. I was like, oh, what can I do with these? Instead of just using them as they are, which works, but how can I make it more unique and interesting? And so like for this one, actually just kind of kit bashing or making capes for the turtle, I just took some red fabric and made pants because when I took off the clothing of the figure, he didn't have any pants. So I'm like, I got to solve that problem. So really just like, I think also just going and as you start, like for me, all right, here's what I want to do. What do I have?
Yeah.
Okay, how can I elevate it and make it better or make it more interesting? Right here I had 3 orange pumpkins. I'm like, let's make one purple. Let's just make it different. Or let's use, I think the girl was like the Bespin Leia, but then used Mysterio's helmet, like the fishbowl. Like, okay, let's try to make that like if a kid was going to make their own astronaut costume. Like it was more like from the approach of, if kids were going to make their own costumes like we did back in the day, how could we do that? So that's, Batman had a towel around his neck and tied it. And so, yeah, I have so much fun with those. And I just get so much fulfillment and enjoyment out of it when I'm finished versus just like, all right, let's shoot this cool figure or whatever. Right. But there's still a lot of merit to that too. Because when you light a figure and it just accentuates like the sculpt, the mood, and it can be just straightforward and simple. That also is like really rewarding. So, I
love how deep you went in that photo too, right? Like you don't even realize how far back like everything is. The levels of the depth that are there. Going all the way back to the car and pieces. I didn't even some of the stuff I didn't even touch it. On the first viewing. So
the car I didn't even catch at first.
Mm-hmm. And that it's funny. The car was completely not in scale. It's tiny. So when you see it in the BTS stuff here,
right,
you can kind of tell it's too small. But when I see right there, when I took the when I had the photos, I basically it was up in the top corner. It's kind of blurred out.
Yeah.
So I cheated and was able to cut that out and just expand it, make it larger. And in the final shot, if it's even, it might even be cropped out. You can
see a little bit. Yeah, you see the light there. Yeah.
So I just took it and probably doubled the size of it, and then just painted around where Ned is. Another great figure for Halloween. Ned's already got a Spider-Man helmet,
perfect
mask on. So
right there.
Yeah.
Next year. Oh, good.
Yeah, the bags, the trick or treat bags, and the little
Toys R Us, bags too.
Toys R Us bag,
the plastic one. The nice thing is, like, I made a lot of the stuff last year, so I was able to just repurpose some of those little accessories. So
next year, you should do the disappointment of having to put a jacket on over your costume because you're not.
Oh my gosh. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. I found it was like an eBay seller. I forgot who it is. but that makes like soft goods and jackets and things. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Is it GPS lot?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
GP slot or GPS lot or GPLA lot. Yeah.
I buy from them a lot too. I buy more clothes for my toys than I buy for myself.
Well, you were just talking about how you bought the shirts off Instagram there.
Yeah,
so,
that's
true.
That's why, because I'm on Instagram more. So
right, you're on Instagram. So.
look, I should
They're
probably
always
buy
dope
myself
shirts.
some clothes.
What
right?
happened? What happened to the big Vivo revival? That went away, right? Or Vero? That went away, huh?
Vero?
We dropped off that.
I would never was like, I'm leaving Instagram to go to Vero. I was like, hey, this is an interesting platform. Let's see what it does. And then other people were doing like, okay, I can post a few photos. But then after a while, when I was going through and looking at the interface, I'm like, this is not made for this.
Right.
And there's like all these weird, it looks like they had a vision for it and it didn't pan out, but they still kept like, video features or like it was weird, really strange. I don't even know what the purpose is. It's like they probably were thinking too big.
It's too much.
The user base was like, I just want to use it for this.
Right.
So I don't know. But it was great to be able to see like the high res images, people's stuff, and be able to zoom in and stuff. I like that.
That was nice. That was a good touch.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you started with Digirama, and I know that we wanted to talk about this a little bit because it seems like there's I don't want to say a revival, but it seems to be getting popular again. What kind of pushed you away from it, and what are you thinking about the people that are doing it now?
Oh, sure. So for people who aren't familiar, when I started doing toy photography, coming from like you guys, coming from a production background, I was like, okay, I could print out backgrounds, or I could just use my TV. At the time, I was just using like my iPad and putting images on it, or on my computer screen and putting images on that as the background, and then filling in with lights. Usually just doing it like on my desk or something, just really, really rudimentary. But it was very functional and worked really well using like the hue color light bulbs, which at the time that was like the only that I can remember. This is like beginning of 2016. Yeah. RGB lights that you could buy at the consumer level with an app built in.
Right.
And so started integrating those with the Digirama and had a ton of fun just like figuring that out. But like I said, coming from production value or production, I'm used to saying, yeah, let's add production value to things. A production background. It's like, it just made sense to use a screen because you can just swap it out. You can scale it up. I mean, obviously that's what they've been doing like with Mandalorian and XR type stuff.
Yeah.
So at the time, it just made sense. And when I was, I guess, as looking back and kind of answering that question earlier, like kind of where it started, where I've been going, I realize as an artist and as a creative mind that I have, I like trying to solve problems. And once I solve it and feel really confident, like, okay, what's next? So the reason I don't really use it as much is not necessarily because I'm like, oh, I'm done with that. Just like, hey, I really enjoy building dioramas. What can I do with the diorama pieces now? Because I feel really confident with Digirama stuff. So if I'm doing Digirama, usually it's integrated into an entire scene. It might just be a background. So the Halloween shot from last year, it was just basically a neighborhood, like kind of, you could see the tops of roofs and a tree, and it was kind of like a purple sky. So I use that as the background because I didn't have anything else. I didn't have real houses. And then I just put a fence, like an actual popsicle fence in front of it. So that integration with the physical aspect of the diorama pieces just really helps sell that depth even more. So a lot of times I'm using like these different techniques depending on what the shot app like calls for. And I think that's how I work too as a motion designer and graphic designer as well. Like, all right, what's the problem we need to solve? Here are all my tools. Which ones do I use? So yeah, I guess I just haven't really pulled it out, but I love seeing when people use it because I feel like it just opens up possibilities for other people as they are getting into it, or if they're familiar with shooting. There's still a lot. There's a steep learning curve to get it right. And so when people do it successfully, it's fun. Or people ask me like, "Hey, how do I get rid of this glare?" or whatever. It's just fun to like work through that with people and just give them tips and things like that. But yeah, I still love it. It's a lot of fun. And the one thing that blew my mind when I was doing is like, I had a shot from A New Hope, and I had the Bandai C3PO. So it was like the gold vac metal figure. It's a kit you put together. So had that figure and wanted to shoot it like in the hallway of the Tantive 4. So that white hallway in New Hope at the very beginning of the movie. And I had an artist like did a 3D rendering of it. So I used that, but the angle was like really wonky. It wasn't like looking straight down the hall, it was to the side. And I realized if I used whatever the camera perspective was in the photo and matched my camera as kind of like the fake camera or the camera that took the shot,
Right.
it looks weird when you look at it on your desk, but through the lens, if you can match that, it like completely sells it. And that's when you can tell if somebody understands like just the camera space. And if you're shooting, eye level, if the camera, is in the scene, if you're shooting high, then it can make the figure look small. If you're shooting low, then it makes it look larger. Or so there's like a delicate balance depending on how you're like composing that shot. But it's man, it's so fun. I really enjoy it, but I just really haven't done it in a while.
Well, you've also picked up a bunch of that Oilers workshop diorama. That's beautiful, right?
Yeah,
you want to showcase that, but I think you're basically using Digirama more as a set extension, which is I think is ideal, right?
Yep. That was the other thing I felt. I would like to. I think there were probably a few times when I forgot to do it when I posted, but if I'm using someone's image as a background, like they need to be credited.
Right.
And I think that was the thing where I felt like I'm using artwork by people who, were doing concept art for different movies and I'm using that. So I want to elevate them and not just say, oh, I just use this background and forget about it. So I think that could be another reason why I maybe pushed away from it. Or if I'm building, if I'm doing a Digirama shot, trying to build like that, actually the one you showed of the Empire Strikes Back carbon freezing chamber, that whole background I just pieced together with different things and made like smoke effects and all that stuff. So that was something where I kind of did it myself.
Right?
Yeah. And so that was fun because I was able to like piece things together, put it all together in Photoshop. And then because it was all layered, I projected on my TV. You can kind of see I project on my TV. And then what I can do is set my camera. And then it's like, oh, the staircase needs to be moved to the left, or I need to move this pile, this smoke, right? So it's just like different pieces. It's not the entire background. The stairs are not part of the Digirama. That's the real set of stairs. But then you've got the stairs kind of going around the side, which is digital. So really just trying to like blend that so it feels like the whole thing is one scene. That's also really fun and challenging. But I was able to just take all these elements and move them around to wherever the camera was. And like there was kind of like a gap in between like the staircase and the left of the frame. So I could just kind of move that stuff around and just compose it basically live in Photoshop before I was taking the shot. So that was fun because I can take those things versus just, all right, here's a screenshot of Empire Strikes Back, put it here, and you're kind of stuck with whatever you're seeing. So again, a little bit more advanced, but
you're also using cue bulbs there too.
Yeah, for some of that color, had some gels type stuff.
It's funny. It's funny. You went to the cue bulbs, and all I could think is, oh, look at that. He's using a Tupperware as a stand.
Yeah.
I've done that too. I've used Tupperware.
And I needed that because I also needed the lights to go through the Tupperware and acted as a diffuser too for the actual flooring. So
and you need to match the height of the TV.
Right.
Yeah,
that way
exactly.
It lines up properly.
That's true, man. That was a pain. So I've got desks that you can crank and you can kind of go up and down to get the height correct. But before that, this was always annoying because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not right. Like,
what can I
need
use
something that's
to
like,
stack?
I need something that's 2 inches tall, that's like this wide, and it's got some weight to it. So
And then
yeah, it was,
this shot got published, right? Too. It ended up in
in that
yeah.
vintage collection book
Right.
by Blue Milk. It's pretty spectacular. They go through and just talk about the line, and they have interviews with people from Hasbro and talk specifically about certain vintage collection figures, and it's good.
Now this is the actual shot.
That's the actual shot. Yep.
Right. See, like even the barrel, just like the little set dressing that you add on.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah,
Giving
and
it light.
I wanted to put that there so it felt like something was in the foreground,
Mm-hmm.
and the scale of that is probably off. But I also wanted some of that light to hit it, so you could see kind of like the ribs on the side of the barrel.
Yeah.
So it just breaks up with
Mm-hmm.
the lighting, some of those shapes. So
especially since it's predominantly orange light on the screen, right? So you're using it, and it's blue in the background. So
mm-hmm.
you know, contrasting colors. It's just a beautiful setup.
Thanks.
Pleasing to the eye.
It took a while to get that right, for sure. So, and then also making sure I was shooting it wide enough, because it was a basically double page spread. So I wanted to make sure that everything was composed correctly. So when they put captions and things over it, it wasn't going to cover like the carbonite, like Han or anything like that. So there was a lot of things I worked back and forth with Rich over it with Blue Milk, and just like, here's a shot. It's not done, but just make sure the composition is correct. So that was a really fun project to work on, be a part of.
How long would you say, like, from start to finish it took you? I'm always curious about that. Like, you know, certain shots.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
You know.
Yeah, fortunately, Rich sent me all of the figures, so that was nice. I didn't have to like source all that stuff. So he just sent me a box of those things. I had one of my buddies had the floor actually cut from metal, and he at the time he just like, hey, if you want to use this to shoot, this is before I even had this project. He's like, you can use it. So I've had that, use it in a bunch of my shots. And then the stairs as well. He printed those up for me. Wow. Even before I was doing the shot too. So it all just kind of like came together. But in terms of like how long it took, I probably spent easily 20 hours.
Wow.
I would say, just here and there.
Yeah.
And shooting, I know I went to it, probably shot 2 or 3 times, like just kept everything set up, but then shot it a few times, like I said, just to make sure it was right, or realize, oh, this, the light should be, or the color of the stairs should be orange, and so
there's always a lot of micro adjustments that you have to do.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. So a lot of that I can just do in Photoshop and fix, but there are some things I'm like, I got to get this right, so I do it.
You want to get it
photos
right in camera.
Yeah, do the photos, make sure they look good, and then pull them in, try to do a quick edit, see where my problem issues were. Also, I think there was also some that weren't actually in focus. I'm like, okay, got to fix that too. So
that always gets me. Whenever something's not in focus, I'm like, I got to go back.
Dude, yeah, that's the worst. So I would say easily 20 hours for that
20
one.
20 hours from setup to post, or just...
Maybe concept from the beginning, when I actually started getting things out.
Right.
Maybe 20. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I really should start keeping track of that and see.
What? If you're counting from the concept, like you're posting stuff, because I like you said, what I do is if I have a figure in hand, or like I want to shoot this, I pose it, and then if I get into a good pose, like you said, you have to put it in the right scene, and then once you put it in the right scene, you have to light it properly.
Yeah.
So like I'll do that. It'll probably take me a few days. So 20 hours, if you're counting from then, I believe that.
And I'd say that 20 hours is spread out over probably a week or two, thankfully. But and then what the cool thing is, I would say even with the Halloween one, I probably revisited that twice, so let it sit overnight and then came back to it, and I pull in those photos, see how they look, and I think what's cool is after you take the shot and you look at it and kind of analyze it a little bit more, like, oh, you know what I could do? Let's bring this in the background more in focus, or add a bag here, or add something else, and just like you could tweak it to death, But being able to look at it one time and know, okay, I can come back to this and shoot it again and then make adjustments. I think that also can make the photo even better. Stuff you miss the first time around. So, or like, oh, you know what I could do? Make sure that none of these figures have dust or like hairs sticking off, you know, and then like just go, let's pull those off so I don't have to like mask them out.
Right.
So that's been beneficial, I think. That's the nice thing about having the space here where I shoot. It's kind of my studio space.
Right.
So collection, stream, desk, right? And then on this side is where I've got like my craft table and like the TV can move around and all that stuff. It's nice that I can set something up in here and it can stay as long as
it needs to.
It needs to.
Yeah.
Or my wife comes up here and she's like, this place is a mess. Like, sorry. That's why the door was closed.
But you do hit like parts of frustration during the shots though, right? Like when setting up, things not fall over. It happens to everyone. See, John?
Well, you know, you made me feel like it was just me. So
no, I mean those especially those little Halloween figures, because they're kids, they're small and their legs are kind of like the ankles are small. Well, so just getting to stand,
their legs aren't developed yet. They're young, so
it's true. It's true. They're weak little younglings. So just getting sticky tack and putting them under their foot, and then looking like, okay, is the sticky tack visible to the camera? It is, and then fixing that, and then they fall over and like, ugh. So yeah, there's a lot of that, and then eventually you're just like, okay, well, if that's the case, I'm just going to put something behind it, and the cape is going to cover it, so I don't have to mess with it.
So I've noticed that when you use foam dioramas, that when you're moving things around, everything shakes. So like I try to, I'll try to look for dioramas that don't have the foam floor. Like if it's a heavier floor, you're less likely for everything to fall over when you're just trying to make a little tiny adjustment.
And that's the one you just picked up, right? You just picked up at Legion's Con.
Yeah, the Crashbox Custom.
Oh man, Crashbox does good work.
Yeah,
really, they're incredible to see in person too.
I bet.
So
I think we order more floors from them. Definitely more.
Yeah,
floors.
I'm finding too that especially with the Oilers Workshop one that I had commissioned, it's really it's about the pieces. Like I don't want to set it up and it be the same thing every single time. And so sometimes like I'll use for instance, I did a Spider-Man shot where I want to do like a rooftop.
Right.
And so I took a bunch of these pieces that are supposed to be like, you know, walls, and I had the one was supposed to be like it's like a gray kind of concrete wall, I think, or a street. I forgot what I used exactly, but I used that as like the roof. And so turn it on its side and like put a little bit of a pitch to it. And
it's smart. Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Like if you are really, here you go. If you really are looking at the piece as less of like, all right, this is a wall. It's like, no, these are bricks. The bricks can be a wall. It can be a floor. So if you think about diorama pieces that way, and if they are a little bit more modular, there's so much you can do with it. And so I think that's the other thing where as soon as I get a diorama, so I've got the Dagobah Days he made a while ago. This was probably a few years ago. But the basically like the cantina, like from Star Wars, and all the walls are like individual pieces. And so taking those and like, all right, as soon as I got it, I knew exactly how it should be set up. Like, what can I do to make it completely different? And I was sending photos to Dakota, who made it. He's like, holy crap, I didn't even think about using that ceiling as a wall or, you know, whatever. And I'm like, yes, this is what's fun. Like, just what can you do? Because it's modular. What can you do to like just use it as a piece? So like the roof is actually supposed to be like the street. So just using random stuff, and a lot of things, they just need to be in the foreground that are blurred. That white box is actually a part of one of the Star Wars evaporators, but there's some nice little grates and stuff on it. So I just pulled it apart and used that piece. So it looks like an air conditioning unit or something.
It does. Oh, wow. That works really well. And then the birds sell it.
Yep.
Those friggin' birds.
Yep. And then they're like going back to like mixing. So you've got it's not Digirama, but it's that background to this NECA city, right? So I use that because it's a beautiful just illustration. It's stylized. And then I had these little model buildings that I put to accentuate the depth, but then also
Right.
you've got that mix between an image, a flat 2D image, and then 3D elements. And so as you layer that, it really just sells that depth. And it's hard to find out like where's the physical stop and the 2D, I should say 2D versus 3D, where are those lines? If you can blur them, then it just makes it much more interesting.
Yeah.
That's great. And again, even like again, realizing how much depth you are using, right? Like how long that table is, how far away you are too. It's
yeah.
What focal length are you using on this shot?
I don't know.
It's tight, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you can see the background is compressed. Everything is so like it's so crisp. Like, man, this is nice.
I don't.
What do you use to shoot, by the way?
The Sony A7 IV.
Okay. Yeah, I can see you're zoomed in.
24-70. Yeah.
You're zoomed in.
So, yeah. I don't really know exactly. I can look and tell you later. I don't remember.
But that's how you, like, when you have a setup like this where it's like really like there's a lot of depth using a lot of parts, you really want to use a lens that's that compresses everything nicely. I've been using my 24-70, but like lately I've been zooming into 70.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And just getting it doesn't seem like it's a toy anymore because it almost looks like it gives it the proper proportions is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Right. And getting the right depth of field and focal, that makes a big difference. And obviously, depending on how much, like I didn't want too much of the background where you could see that it was a 2D like image. So leaving that a little bit out of focus and then pulling that focus to obviously the subjects was helpful. So just pushing them back a little bit further, I could still have, pretty wide focal depth or kind of the focal plane. But they were far enough back in the room where they were kind of getting a little bit blurred out. So yeah, it's just all that kind of playing around. And I think that's what's fun about using toys for photography. Like I've learned everything that I know for the most part through photography just by shooting toys and seeing how things work and understanding low light photography and understanding how you sell, like we were talking about, like the camera angles. So it feels like you're shooting at eye level versus like way up high, like if you were in proper scale to the figures, whatever. So there's a lot you can learn. Obviously, it's different when you've got something that can stay still for nights on end, depending on how long you set it up.
Yeah, it's also less frustrating too.
Yeah. So people who actually shoot, people or weddings or things like that. Like that is a completely
with a camera, not
different
we're
thing.
With a camera.
Yeah, exactly. That to me, that's stressful. Like I've done it once for my best friend, and I don't think I did a great job.
Never.
They were happy, but yeah. So but I've learned in terms of just like how to shoot. You just learn a lot of this stuff by just doing it. So.
Oh, I'm gonna bring it up again. So like, I learned that John actually pointed this out to me when I was doing a shot where I was mixing scales. So I used the razor crest. Yeah. And I put that in the background. But when you have something in small scale in the background, you want to elevate it. So like I see you have the buildings elevated so that way it pops up in the background, right?
Well, those are just there just because I needed them to be because the camera was a little lower. So it got that wall that Miles is sitting on. So I had to actually lift those up so you can actually see them. Because if you put them on the same plane, you just see like this much of the tops.
Yeah, exactly.
So but kind of to your point, if you're going to mix scales, I find the best thing to do is to shoot on the horizon. So you bring your camera really, really low. And so then that way, if you've got like a little small razor crest, put that in the background, it looks like it's further off because you're closer to the horizon. If you're higher up, then you can see kind of the distance between the two.
Yeah.
And it's harder to sell that. So, but yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. Like you have to adjust like your planes of like where objects are to really sell that. But isn't it so fun? Like when you see, like when you're setting it up, you know exactly like what it looks like, right? You know how the sausage is made. But when you go behind the camera, you take your shot, like, man, this is like this illusion, this magic. of what the camera sees is completely different from contextually what's happening,
Right.
and kind of like in the physical space. So
the story you tell with the camera. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys do that every day too. So
somebody does. Oh.
yeah.
All right, cool. So we love taking I really appreciate taking the time to talk about, your shots and the work behind it. And, hopefully, I mean, I just learned a lot. So I'm hoping other people learned a lot too.
Nice.
What were some of the picks that you really liked from this week? What were some of the standouts?
Yeah. There were 3 that really stood out to me.
Okay.
The first, I think we can kind of pull them up. They might just be mixed around a little bit. The first one.
This one. Holy God.
Okay. So if you're not following Nicography 77, do yourself a favor and do it, because when you scroll, if you're not paying attention, you're just scrolling through these real quick. You're like, oh, that's a cool shot. Where's this guy? This is amazing, because this is really selling those illusions, right?
Oh my God. So good. When you sent this to us, I was like, I don't think he understands the
didn't understand that.
Do you know that we're talking toys tonight?
Exactly.
I thought he sent us like a photographer, like an actual photographer, and I thought this was real.
Jason did not understand the assignment. Yes.
Yeah.
So what's amazing with this is that if you go to this person's account, check out. I think there's a BTS on this one. But yeah, just scroll through and you can see what this person does is actually take these really beautifully. I don't know if it's like 118, but these models, and a lot of times has created.
There you
go. Yeah, right here has created these different physical dioramas to the scale, and then shoots outside, so you get the natural light. You don't have to have any light here.
Yeah,
it's just you just go outside and shoot. But this person does a really excellent job of mixing the materials, or like the diorama pieces, to match the setting, or get on the horizon so it feels seamless, or have like a row of grass that can kind of blend in with the physical, like what's actually there in the space.
So good.
Blows my mind. That action shot right there of the car jumping, like
this one,
it looks like a photo.
It looks like look at that.
It looks like it's still from a movie. Yeah.
Right? Isn't that just mind-blowing and absolutely beautiful? I mean, there's a lot going on here, obviously, from a photography standpoint.
These are old movie tricks too, right? Like people, they used to do these tricks in movies where they would have their miniature. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Star Wars does this a lot, actually.
Yeah. Which, I don't know if you guys, I know, Matt, I think you and I have talked about this before, but the ILM feature on Disney Plus. Have you watched that? Holy God, it's so good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Look at all the detail he does.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, only not just from a photography standpoint, but a modeler, painter, and then also like building dioramas, and they just look so phenomenal. So yeah, 118 scale. I think that's primarily what what they're using. But I mean, that shot just stood out to me, and I love that Defender. I think that's what it was, that original shot. But that's just inspiring. I mean, when you can see something like that and be fooled, like that's not a real photo, or not a real car. I mean, that's
Jason did not understand the assignment.
No,
What was I
and
wrong?
It's just interesting because you can tell in this photo, if you go back one, you can see the seam, you can see where the grass starts, but because the lighting is just natural lighting and there's so much detail on the model, your brain is like ignoring what's happening in the background. So it's not always necessary to like, oh man, this grass has to be the exact same color as the grass in the scene or in real life. And so it's really just like you can fool the mind pretty easily. It's just there's a few things you have to take into consideration. And I think Nicography 77 does a great job with that. So I wanted to bring something a little bit different, not just always a superhero esque toy.
This actually brings me back though, because when I was in college, I took photography twice when I was in college.
Nice.
I switched schools. The first time I took photography, I did not enjoy it. Second time I took it, well, the first time I almost flunked out of it, so I dropped out. Can you believe that?
Self-preservation. Yeah.
The second time, I got a little better at it. They were doing the transition between film and digital, so I was leaning more towards.
Oh yeah.
It was a little easier for me.
Yeah.
My final project was actually a model car, and I was doing macro photography, and people didn't believe it. They thought like, where did you get access to a Lamborghini?
Lamborghini. I was going to ask if it was a Lamborghini.
It was a yellow Lamborghini, and I was
Like
just shooting it with low light, right? And they didn't believe that it was just a toy, and I had to bring it into class.
That's awesome.
They thought I stole somebody else's photos, or where did I get access to this car?
Isn't that amazing? Oh man, that's so cool.
Find those photos.
Yeah, you should. I'd love to see those. So yeah, that was one of my picks for this week. That's awesome. Really stood out, and I was like, man, this is. Yeah. If people aren't aware, they need to be following Nico.
Nicography. 77.
Nicography.
Nicography.
Maybe. There we go. Nicography. Nico. I don't know. Anyway, good stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go to the next one.
Pick it up. Yeah. So this one came across my feed, and I love the the use of like printing out or I think it's printing out and then cut out the Hulk there and mixing it with it. It's just again, we're talking about mixing different elements, right, and getting it all in there. And the way they did this, and there's actually another one too that we talked in there with Ghost Rider. The Ghost Rider figure 2 kind of does the same thing, but it's two variations of it, right? So this one, and I don't know, Matt, if you could pull up the Ghost Rider one real quick too, but like this one does the cutout, the printout, has a physical element, puts the toy behind it, and then sneak peek at everything.
There you go.
Yeah. What CADZ Toys does here, where it's clearly 3 different shots, but again, it's just showing that evolution. I just thought, for both shots, it was just really cool, and really cool to see 2 similar ideas executed differently, though. Like this is done with composition, the other done more practically.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's very clever. I love seeing the mix of like cutouts. Yeah, if it's like the ACBA type stuff where it's onomatopoeia, or it's like word bubbles, or even where I've seen people do this where they're using cutouts of like the actual artwork, or some people forgot who, but some people like for like Batman the Animated, like that whole DC like they might
the articulated series, I think it is, or
Batman the Articulated series, or the Bat Fan maybe. Anyway, using like cutouts of an expression where Batman's like that. You don't have actually the head that's got that expression, but uses the cutout from the cartoon, puts it on the body, or vice versa, uses a different character that doesn't exist, and it's just a cutout from a screenshot. Like that stuff is really, really creative, and I love how this is being used here. And is there a BTS on this one? If you click on their name,
I don't know. I'm actually starting to wonder if it is actual like physical cutouts, because I'm seeing these sparks, and I know that's like Photoshop.
That's Photoshop, yeah. Either way, I mean, I think
great.
It's still effective with even if it was digitally added. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that'll be the next post. Hopefully.
Maybe I was gonna say not yet. It's probably too new.
So we got to make sure we're following them. I love that avatar. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, and keep it on practical effect, right? So this one is a great use of how the heads popping the heads off of different figures. And then I think we were talking about this before. It looks like there's just a pane of glass in front of Spider-Man, or maybe if Spider-Man's in front of the pane of glass, where they're all just kind of stuck on there.
Yeah, you can see the tack.
Really clever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A really clever way to do it.
That's so cool. I love that. Where it's, I guess there's different ways you could interpret this. But it's almost like all these voices in his head are people he's seen, or Mysterio is just like completely messing with them, and that's really, really creative. Is there? I'm always asking, is there behind the scenes on this Paolo Picasso?
Let's see.
Paolo. Maybe on the original post. Yeah, click on and see if there's like an extra. image or something.
No, that's not the original one.
Is that the original? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the original. Or is the original and they just posted it
No,
as
there
a
it is.
collab?
Oh, there it is.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
looks like there's more.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's
there
glass.
you go.
Glass. Yep.
Glass or acrylic.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The only thing that I would add to it more though is I see that they have lights back here, and then probably another light. I would have just lit a little better, like the subjects, because like I didn't even realize this was Deadpool at first. I didn't know who. I didn't realize this was Vulture.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just to showcase who they are. And I didn't even notice that Jonah was right there.
Jonah Jameson.
So all right, so I'm gonna challenge you on that.
Mhm.
Would you light everyone better, or are you giving the illusion that they're floating around? So at some point, one of them is going to be in dark, and you know what I mean, like, so like the ones that are closer to Spider-Man would be brighter, as opposed to the ones in the back would be darker. And again, I mean, like to me, I'm just thinking about it as if it was in motion as opposed to just a still frame.
I think it's more. This is more because of where the lights are placed, because all the lighting direction is all the same.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was, as you saw, it was like one plane, right?
Yep.
If you were gonna do like distance, you would mix it up and have some heads on one plane and then another plane of glass behind that. And wait a second, these are two different Spider-Man figures.
Yeah. I mean, he probably changed it up just to, how we were talking when Jason was talking. Move things around. So
that's cool.
I mean, it's still a great photo.
No, it's beautiful.
It's just to give emphasis more towards the subjects there, right?
Yeah, it's cool. It would have been interesting. You could take this a couple different ways, right? If it was just people that he loves or knows, because there's like you could see Peter's head, or if it's just villains, like that would be kind of interesting to see how it would look if it was just villains,
right?
Or like the Sinister Six or whatever, like attacking him, or if it was just his loved ones, where it's like they feel it's like Mysterio's make it like they're in danger. I think that could make it interesting too. But yeah, the technique is great though.
Yeah.
It really stands out. I mean, some of these photos, they stand out because it's different. There's something where it's like, oh wow, there's a bunch of floating heads. What's this photo telling me?
This reminds me of like a comic book cover.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you've definitely seen a comic book cover like this.
Yeah.
Now the only thing is, like what I was saying with the lighting, is that because the heads are close together, you're gonna get the shadows from each head on. Like you get the shadow from Miles on Norman's face over here.
I actually think what she said was like putting them on different planes. That could be really interesting. Like if you're taking 3 different pieces of acrylic and layering them up that way, could work really well.
You can even mix scales. Like you could use 1/6.
Oh yeah,
true. Cool.
That's a cool shot.
Might have to think of a shot like that. All right, let's go to.
I like that. Jules, Lost in Translation. I didn't choose this one, but I saw it. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, man, this is a great shot.
I love this shot. It's just, I don't know. The way she blends everything is so nice. The lighting, I don't even know what scale this is. Look at this. Is that a 3D print?
I don't think so.
It kind of looks like or
is it just frozen?
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Oh, she just added that. Okay.
It's probably the Micro Galaxy or whatever it's called. That new line.
She's really. I mean, she's done this a couple of times. And she's really great with blending that media, right? Where it's like you're taking the life. What was it? The DeLorean she did with the Velociraptor. That was great too.
I love that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is kind of part of that series in a sense. If you click on her name, I think there's a few of them that are kind of along the same lines, including that DeLorean. Let's see. That one's so good.
This Ant-Man one on the Coke on the cap, one of my favorites.
So awesome.
I need to get that. I've been talking to her about getting that printed. Actually, I should follow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Look at those Halloween ones. She showed me those. Those are awesome too. But yeah, I love that kind of old vehicles that are. I want to say, I thought there was like another one or two.
There was one more. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh yeah, there you go. The land
Yeah.
speeder or the
speeder bike.
The speeder bike.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Abandoned transport series.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, she's really good at compositing.
Yeah.
It's fun seeing other people try different things, you know?
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, man, that golly.
This T-Rex one I love. It's the light. It's the eye that sells it, right?
Mm-hmm. And the above that and the right, there's the Jurassic Park. Yeah, that one. Check this out. This shot's amazing too. Yeah, right there. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why it's not clicking.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So a lot of those little pieces are practical too, I think, in that diorama. I think, unless she just fooled me.
So
either way,
yeah,
that's cool.
No, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, the banner. Yep. Yeah, she's very talented.
I like the light rays.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
I
believe we all follow her, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It's funny. I actually met her last Halloween when we were doing kind of the Halloween competition. Richie and I were like, hey, everybody do Halloween themed shots. And then we did like a critique, which was fun. And I wish we could have kept that up, but life gets in the way. But that's how I met her. She had a photo that we chose.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
wait, you met her in person?
No, I'm sorry. I was aware of her work on Instagram through that challenge that we had out there. It's so good. I love that.
John Hammond and Kevin. Kevin's a girl? Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, she does great stuff.
Cool.
She really does. All right. I think we all saw this one.
Yeah. Who didn't see this one?
This one I chose for tonight because this one is just great. It captured my attention because it's not what we usually see from Spider-Man. A lot of times we see like the dynamic pose from the front where he's like swinging or, like the other one where some kind of action is happening. Where this one, we're seeing the reverse side. We're seeing his back. We're seeing from the inside of his apartment or his room. And we know what he's going to do. We know it's Spider-Man. We're familiar with the costume. So you don't have to sell that to us. We already know. And so just like from a contextual standpoint, it's like, okay, he's out there either ending or starting the day. Yeah. He's got his stuff. He's going to take some photos. He's got a backpack. And he looks kind of tired too to me. Like he looks exhausted. Like, just kind of, this is a lot of work. I'm tired. There's other things going on in life. There's just so much in this photo that's telling a story.
The coffee mug.
The coffee mug. The fact that he's getting on the desk to get out of the window. Like that's just a nice little touch. Physical diorama. I'm curious what's on the other side. If that's, other physical buildings or, that'd be interesting to see, but just such a beautiful shot.
I think he did have a BTS of it or a reel. But yeah, but there's something too in there that like you feel the anticipation, right?
Yes.
Like something's about to happen.
I think if you scroll down, the original one is a couple lower. Yeah, I think you keep going. I believe so. The original one.
Oh, really?
I think the original one was up here.
Okay, maybe that's
that one. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So
I guess not. No BTS, but yeah, that'd be interesting to see. But yeah, John, man, the anticipation of like, oh man.
Let me ask you something. Did you see this in the beginning of the week?
Yes.
So. Yeah.
Do you think this resonates a lot more in the beginning of the week because it's like, oh man,
it's a Monday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a good call.
Like it's also about timing too. Like when you post the photo, like
For sure.
Oh, that's very,
can you
very
resonate
true.
with
That's a
lot
good
of
point.
people?
That's a very good point. Doing things when they're relevant or something's
Mhm.
happening in real life and
Yeah.
it relates to it,
Right.
if it's intentional or not. Yeah.
Like if you're
That's a
gonna
really
post
good
a
point.
picture of like somebody at a bar, like, oh, here's to the weekend, but you post it on a Monday, I'm not gonna make that, you post it on a Friday, you're gonna get a lot of traction.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to feel like a long week.
Right.
Mhm.
It's on a Monday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's just a great
somebody's
shot.
ending their week on a Monday. It's always somebody's Friday.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, this is a good one. I know you guys talked about it too, so I'm glad we both found this one.
Yeah.
Or all three of us, not both. You both found it, and I found it. That's what I meant.
I found it on the ACBA podcast actually. And then I sent it to John.
I think I had already liked it by the time you sent it, but I always feel bad saying that to you. It's like,
I don't care. That means you're active in the community, then I like it more.
Doing my best.
There you go. Trying to.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this one, Cat's Toys. Just, I don't know. It's and I'll be honest with you, I had no interest in this figure, but like this photo was like, maybe I do need that figure. But then I also think, I'm not gonna do anything better with it than that. So well, maybe I don't need it.
So that's the thing that you've said it before to me, especially like the bread aisle, right?
Right. The bread aisle analogy.
I feel like that's also been like discouraging you a lot lately. Like you see somebody else take like the Galactus we've talked about.
Dude,
right?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I was all gung-ho to open Galactus, and then Mr. Lee put up like 3 pictures, and I was like,
I almost chose one of those too.
I don't need to open this thing. So, but yeah, I get it. I appreciate that. But and I guess for those that don't know the bread aisle analogy, it's like whenever you feel like you're doing the same thing as somebody else, just walk down the bread aisle. There's so many variations of bread that you can buy, and everybody's got their favorite. So, but yeah, but I mean, certain stuff though, man, like those Mr. Lee photos. I mean, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But
it almost made my top 3 pick this week. But yeah,
we do have a Galactus photo in here somewhere.
Also, Cat's Toys, just in general, photos are phenomenal.
Not only are his photos phenomenal, but let me say that like he is a great person because
oh yes, absolutely.
You've talked to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He hooked me up with a Grail piece.
Oh really?
Yeah, he hooked me up with the Revoltech Stitch.
Oh,
for a good price, for a reasonable price, because that Stitch figure was going for like, but like north of $500 at one point.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he's a true hero in my book.
475.
Nah, I think it was like 3. I think it was like 3. He sold it to me for.
Hey, that's awesome. I mean,
you have $495. Yeah,
it's still cheap.
Give you a good price. And it came here quick too. Yeah,
nice.
And he's the one who told me about that figure, John. Like you're always asking me what figure did you buy that had birds, and I can't remember. But like, he's the one who told me about the one with like the little doves that are flying in the background that I've used in like a Superman shot. I have to look for where I bought that thing. I got it on Amazon, but like
Jason, where did you get your pigeons from?
That's from the Mezco Agent, or not Agent Gomez. It's the Gomez. It's like the 70s. Oh gosh, what is it? Con exclusive. This one.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. And it came with pigeons?
Yeah, it came with 2 pigeons, I think.
So, we've always seen him in toy shows. We could always try to pick him up if you want.
Yeah, I just want the pigeons though. So
you can probably find pigeons elsewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
And not spend $500, $400 on the figure or something.
Yeah, you've spent more on a lot less.
More on less. I've spent more on less. Yeah.
So,
that should be an Instagram name.
More on less.
Spent more on less.
Spent more on less.
Yeah. So this is my pick from our buddy Sharif. Darth Thundada.
Also a great community member and amazing photographer.
Oh yeah. We saw him at Legion.
Super good human all around.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just So
Man.
I've been collecting Mythic Legions for a little bit, but like lately I've just been more on a kick. With Toy Con and then Legion Con.
Legions.
But like I am learning a completely different style of shooting because of these figures. And I was also talking to Figure Fan Nate, and we both even said it like, yeah, there's like a completely different learning process with this because it's not your traditional comic book. I'm going to copy a comic book panel,
Right.
For the shot, and it doesn't have to like see like this. This doesn't even have to be like in action. It's the anticipation. It's the build up. These guys are all, they're waiting for a battle.
Yeah.
The pop and swap feature with these figures is great. Like this figure, that's not the body that it comes with. Like that head is different.
Yeah. That's what's so brilliant about, and I can't do Mythic Legions just because I can't have another line where I'm going crazy with, but I've got a couple of them, and just the going back to kind of the modularity or modular kind of builds with dioramas, I feel like they have just nailed the ability to be able to just take these figures apart and kit bash and do your own, version of your troll or whatever it might be. An orc or whatever, just to be able to like mix and match those. And even with the one figure, you can do a lot of different things with like turning armor upside down, taking a shoulder pauldron off or whatever. There's all this ability to change things up, and you can build out these giant armies with just a handful of figures and make them all unique. That line is amazing. I can't I told myself I can't do it, but it is I would say it's probably one of the best lines for that, just like customization, just right out of the box.
So good. All right.
Yeah, and the quality of the figures are just incredible too.
Oh yeah, the paint application. The articulation is a little, kind of want a little more, but you could work with it. You could even pull out the arm socket a little bit to just get a little more range. You know,
it's just it's a solid figure all around.
Yeah,
so, yeah. I love this next one.
I like it.
It's so good.
It's just so simple, right? Well, it's not so simple. The message is so simple. This is probably a pain in the ass to set up.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's just it's wholesome. Like Wolverine, just
peeling apples.
Peeling apples in the morning. That's got to be morning light, right?
He's getting ready for Thanksgiving. He's making an apple pie. I get it. What he's bringing to the potluck. Is that what is on the table next to him though?
A bottle.
It looks like a bottle of gin.
So it's a bottle of aviation gin. Of course.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
I would say it's an empty bottle of bourbon.
So is the question then that he's like excited, or he forgot that he had to peel these apples, or this was his like, we've all been there. It's 4:00 in the morning and you think peeling apples is a good idea, and next thing you know the sun's coming up. So I don't know.
Well, if you start at 4:00 in the morning and then the sun's coming up, I'm sure you're past one apple.
Yeah, well, it's got we don't know how many apples are in the background there. Getting ready,
One's already a pie is already in the oven.
Yeah, pie.
Oh, it looks like
he's just enjoying one for himself.
I was trying to figure out what's going on in the foreground too. It looks like there's a couple of like NECA pizza boxes, and another bottle, and then on the couch I can't tell what's over there. But again, it doesn't matter, right? A lot of the stuff is just putting it in there for texture and putting something in the foreground and let you know where you are, like for context.
It's world building.
Yeah. I love the plants outside. That's a nice touch. That's not supposed to be like, you don't need to focus on it, but it's there and it tells you, it tells that story versus it could be just like a blue sky or just seeing dirt or grass.
It shows that he's living there.
Right. Right.
And the color's nice. Yeah.
And who was this?
I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Hyaruron.
Oh yeah, let's check out some Sakurai Hiroyuki.
Oh, look at the Mickey one.
Those are cool.
Let me look at the Mickey one first.
Yeah. That's great.
I kind of want like a
same set, the kitchen set.
I kind of want
That's
that.
actually in the background. So Mickey was making the pie while Wolverine was peeling the apples.
That's pancakes.
Pancakes.
Pancakes. Maybe it's apple pancakes.
Apple pancakes. Ooh, that's
there you go. That's cool, man. That Kingpin is a cool figure. I kind of want to shoot him too, but time, man.
We've been seeing a lot of the Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I've got that one on pre-order.
It's my pocket figure. I have another one on pre-order.
Oh, you do?
That's how good it is. I have another one just in case I break it.
That's I don't blame you.
Really I like this one. This is the one I was going for originally.
That's nice.
This is how all streams should end.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Everybody
all
fall asleep.
All falling asleep.
Let's talk to him. Maybe we can use that photo every time we end the stream.
Oh, even though I love action poses, and I specifically chose that apple peeling one, but this action pose is so good.
That's nice too. And that's what's cool. I think it's nice having diversity. And if you're only shooting the same type of thing, it's good. Like you can master a certain style or whatever it might be. But I love just like challenging myself and doing different things or seeing what resonates with people. And it's really fun to see other artists and see where they kind of are playing in like different spaces or challenging themselves to do different styles or shoot different figures or any of that stuff. It's really rewarding.
This one I really like.
Really
I should have. I would have chose this one too. Actually, like his background, the drawing. I wonder if they actually drew that, or if that's might be a printout.
Might be. I don't know.
It might be an actual drawing too.
Look at that! Like it even looks like he's got little eraser marks, like the eraser on there. That's impressive.
That's good stuff. That's really nice. Good. And again, telling the story, it's also a great figure.
I'm sorry. They seem to like that morning light though, because you get the same idea there, right through that one window.
That lighting is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the morning light. When you have a scene with a window, you kind of want to use the morning light.
Oh yeah.
It gives a lot of, especially if you have the spray, the atmosphere spray.
Mm-hmm.
It gives that really nice setting. Let's move on to our last photo.
There we go.
There's that Galactus.
That's a cool pose.
So, coming from Wayne Collectors, who predominantly was just doing like just posing, right? And then now kind of got into light painting a little bit, and he's now gotten into compositing. And again, I think just talking about compositing here, and I think he used the box art for reference, right? Like that was what he wanted to recreate. I don't know. I thought this was really cool, and even the way the background pops.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you could see how each of them are kind of I think it was that the box art that didn't win. Is that what it was?
No, that's the box art that did win. Oh. So you have not taken out of the shipper box. Actually,
no, he's still in the shipper box. Once I told you he's a coffee table now.
Pretty much.
So but I thought this was really, really cool. That was really well done.
That in itself, there have been a few times where I've tried to recreate shots.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be really challenging, especially if you've got these figures that are drawn in a really dynamic pose and you're limited by the articulation. So what can you do to kind of match that? Or,
right.
I've done some recreations if it's like concept art or poster or like old, turtle posters that I used to have and like recreating that. That's an art in itself. And that's a lot of work. For sure.
I love the way he's got the surfer pose in this one. I think that's a great.
That's a great pose.
Really
I mean, all of them really.
Yeah,
it's pretty much spot on to the bottom. Yeah. Except for the Frankie one, he changed up. He told me, I think, because it was a different pose.
Frankie Ray.
Yeah, it's funny. Was Istanbul has his before I had mine.
Did you ordered it? You still haven't got it?
Well, bought it, and my buddy got two, one for me, one for him, and so I just need to get it from him.
Got it.
So, yeah, just shipped to one place.
No.
So.
Let's say maybe yours is in Constantinople. You'll never get that.
Yeah, probably.
So
not Istanbul.
So with him, he, like you said, he does light painting, right? That's a technique where you basically have a long exposure and you just move the light around to get like all the details.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're doing a composite like this, you really have to think of how everything's going to be lit.
Yeah.
I've done the light painting, and you showed me the light painting on one of Christmas shots a couple of years ago. But I've actually started doing a lot of the light painting on the turtles stuff because they're like that cartoon style. It's hard to hit them with light a certain way, and I end up finding that the painting really lets them pop, especially with like a white light with a diffuser on it. It works really, really well.
Yeah. You could light paint with your phone. And that's how I showed it to you with that Matchutoy shot. Like, and you, because like I think you were just using the room light, right? And then like another
I had like one or two lights. All I had was the 2 lights up. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not enough light. And then I'm like, just crank the what was it? Not the what is it? The shutter speed?
It was the timer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said crank that, and I walked up and I just went like this. You know, I just waved like a wand.
It's perfect.
I use that. So since I do a lot of compositing, since I know how to do compositing in Photoshop, there will be times when I decide to use like light painting. So for example, if you've got someone with a lightsaber, what I do is I've got everything set up, got the lightsaber, light it however I want. And then once I've got everything set, I know this is the composition that I want, take the shot, cut all the lights, and then usually we'll, like you were saying, use my phone to get blue, green, whatever the lightsaber color I want. And then that's the only light that I've got in the entire room. And I will basically use that as motivational light to whatever the lightsaber, wherever it is.
Yeah.
Use that colored light as like the emitter. And so then that way, what you do is you've got the color of, let's say it's using blue light. It's casting light onto the subject, but everything else is black.
Right.
And then what you can do is you can take that layer, and since you've not moved the camera, take that layer, put it on top of your regular shot with all the light and everything like you like it. And then you do a blending mode that will basically knock out all the black and make that blue illuminate like with a screen or an additive blending mode. It's already where it needs to be. And then that blue light is already on the figure where it needs to be. So it's practical,
right?
But you're just combining those. So that light painting can be really, really effective. It's a fun technique to do.
You don't even have to use the color light either, right? You can
you
can use a white light and then just change it in the program. If you're using Photoshop, or even I think you could even change it in Lightroom if you don't want to use Photoshop, and it'll just give that effect of like the blue light.
Yep.
And I was actually going to suggest to him to Mert Wayne Collectors, if he were to light paint Galactus and not use a color, he could manipulate it in Photoshop, because the only thing that was like, it's the arm just needed a little bit of light because it's
underneath. Yeah.
It's a little bit too dark underneath. Yeah. But like, you know, I told him, like, I'm giving you a pass because this is an epic shot, and he did a really good job. He did a really good job on the whole composite. Like it looks.
Yeah, that's great.
It's pretty close to that, man. And Galactus is okay. So you since you both don't have it like in hand, he is a bitch to shoot because he's so big.
I bet
he's so big.
I'm not surprised. That's another reason why I'm like, do I really need this figure? Because my Sentinel's sitting over there. I only have one. I'm not sitting in between. I'm just sitting to the left of one.
Yeah.
He's actually outside. I have his hand up, and every time I come in, I just drop my keys in his hand.
He serves a purpose.
He's my key holder.
Jason, nice. I think what you just talked through with the blending mode I think that needs to be your next like masterclass reel. How you did the paint effects for the Yojimbo. I think that needs to be your next reel. Or
Yeah,
or we're gonna have you come on here and do that again live because
that'd be fun. I would actually enjoy doing that. That would be really interesting to figure out how to do it effectively.
We'll make this show fun and educational.
Yeah.
If you go back through not too far in my Instagram page, there's a shot I did of Obi-Wan, and he's the one from the show where he's like throwing the rocks.
Oh, I know.
And I think I've got some BTS that shows that effect.
I know exactly which one you're talking about because I was actually about to pull it up before.
Oh, nice. And also layered just like the visualization, a little extra as a motion designer, but did a visualization where I took all those layers and like in 3D space, like separated them so you can kind of see like each of the rocks were kind of individually. Were shot differently or individually. No, I'm sorry. I didn't shoot them. I bought them as like asteroids from a stock photo site and then composited them in Photoshop. But with this is how I did you can kind of see as it turns like the glow of the blue and the red, like specifically on Obi-Wan, you can see the glow of the blue kind of separate.
Yeah.
It kind of just floating. Yeah. So that represents that light layer where I was doing that painting. But like the light on the ground where you see the shadow, I intentionally, since he's holding the lightsaber out, I intentionally took my phone and put it over on that side. So then it would cast the shadow of his legs opposite.
Right.
So, I mean, you can kind of do different things, but if you're intentional about where you're putting your light based on the light in the scene, and where that would actually be emitting the light, then you can really sell that idea when you're compositing.
I love the layering effect of everything.
Yeah. And this is kind of more a visualization. It's not exactly like this, but you kind of see it's more, it's a lot of visualization or a lot of different layers and things. So it's kind of messy in Photoshop. This is more fun to look at. So, but yeah, that's that one I did. There's also a shot I did couple years ago where it's Grievous, and that was the only way that I could get 4 lightsabers. You're gonna have to scroll for a long time, so don't even worry about it. But because he's got 4 lightsabers, 2 are blue, 2 are green, there was no way that I could get a light in there that was going to work for all 4. So that's where I did that, and actually did it 4 different times, one for each of the lightsabers, and then I could just take and just mask out what I wanted. Like I just need a little bit of the green light on his shoulder, all the green light casting on his face. I don't need that, so I could paint that out and just use that rim light on his shoulder. So doing that 4 times and then stacking them, it was a process, but it was really the best way to do it. So
can I just add this to this? I'll just bring it up. I love this shot so much.
I was Dean's guy. Yeah.
Oh my God. That feels like forever ago. And that was what?
It was forever ago.
God.
November 25th, 2020.
2020. So
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years to the day. Look at that.
That was fun.
It was funny.
That was one of those ones where it's Gene's guy showed up, and then 3 days later they edited him out. And so what I wanted to do is as soon as I noticed that, because I saw it also, but then everybody kind of picked up on Twitter and was like, buzz. And I was like, I've got to shoot this, and I'm inspired. I want to do that right now. Yeah. And so I think it was pretty much like the next day I was already like getting started on that shot. And that was pretty fun.
Sometimes you have those shots, those ideas in your head where you just have to execute it because you'll never get it out of your head.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. In this one, obviously, I don't have a head sculpt of me, so I made some stupid face and took a picture.
Well, now you could with selfie series.
Oh yeah, sure. It won't look anything like it, but you could.
Yeah.
You could put that on your pre-order. Since Jason, you technically have Galactus on pre-order, and mine is still in the box. Is there anything else that you've got kind of coming down the pipe, like pre-order wise, or anything that you're excited about?
Yeah, there's a few things. I know. So the NECA turtle line. Right now, I kind of swapped them out. I've actually put those. I kind of been shuffling things around. and actually prepared for this. Put up my Super 7 ones right here on the Dio, but this was full of NECA figures. I've got the NECA Turtle Van coming. So no telling where that's going to actually go. I guess it'll go like right here for a little bit. NECA Turtle Van. I've got the Secret of the Ooze NECA movie 4-pack exclusive, the accessories pack that goes along with it, the Back to the Futures accessory pack that just ended today. For pre-order.
Oh, it ended today?
Yeah.
You got it, don't worry.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Yeah. 1/6 scale. I've got the Mars Toys 1966 Batman, the Joker, I should say. So the Cesar Romero Joker
with the mustache.
Yeah, it was like $200. Wow. Or something like that. Like, I hate to say cheap, but in terms of like 1/6 scale figures, you're kind of looking at like with Hot Toys like $250 minimum nowadays. So got this. It should be coming later. Excited about that one. I want to get the in art Batman from the Batman that just came out. 1/6 figure. I haven't pre-ordered that yet, but I need to. And one other thing that's kind of bigger. These I'm thinking more like the bigger things that are a little later on, like next year. From May Kai. Basically it's like a 1/12 Batman the Animated Series figure, and it's
I know what you're talking about.
Goods.
I've seen it.
Let
me see if I can pull it
awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about that. So, but recently, man, the pickups that I've got. Are you each talking pre-orders right now?
Yeah, we're talking about whatever. Yeah.
Pre-orders. That's kind of what I've got, like the main things.
Yeah.
But I've been in this cycle of wanting to pick up like the retro carded figures and things like that. So that's what I've been looking more into, like on Mercari or eBay. Like, what are some of these old figures? And I've got a couple that are coming Saturday, and they're G.I. Joe from like 1991. There's a Ninja Force Snake Eyes on card, like bright pink magenta like card. It's beautiful artwork. And then also a bat, like the bat. It's like this one. Oh gosh, like this guy, right? Yeah. But he's like neon orange and neon green. I'll show you. Yeah. And so that's on card as well. So I'm excited about those, and those are not really pre-orders, but recent pickups. But I've got a lot of things on pre-order.
I don't think I have anything that's coming in this year, which is kind of nice, right? Like, it gives you a chance to catch up on stuff for the next couple of weeks. That Turtle Van, man. I'm hoping that like January 1, I'm going to start looking for it.
I know.
You're saying Q1, I'm going to be like out my door searching for the UPS guy.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. One of my buddies got the Super 7 Turtle Van.
Yeah,
I want to see that in person because I know it's going to be amazing. But I was like, well, I mostly have. I mean, I've got a lot of the Super 7 stuff, but the NECA stuff, working on the line, and then also knowing there's a lot. It's going to just keep going. I'm like, I'll buy the NECA van instead. But yeah,
we actually had this conversation on. I was on the Lazy Boy stream. With and we were talking about how the NECA figures are they're the figures that I wish I had when I was younger, and Super 7 is just like not just, but they are the figures we had when we were younger.
Yeah,
right. And I think there's something that's kind of what drew me to the NECA more than the Super 7. It's like there's something about the way the NECA ones play as opposed to where there is something very familiar and something very comforting about the Super 7. And that's kind of what I really liked about the Turtle Van from NECA. It was more from the show.
Yes, exactly.
The Super 7 one was the party wagon that we all had.
Yep. So. Yep. That's the one that. Yeah, it's interesting because obviously Super 7 leans more into the Playmates.
Yeah.
But the NECA stuff is more cartoon.
Yeah.
But there's something about the cartoon van that just like I love how angular it is, and obviously NECA they nail it.
Yeah.
So Tony May is the artist
Tony May. Okay.
Oh,
Who does that Batman the Animated Series.
I'm looking.
It's cool. It was heck of expensive, but his work is phenomenal. Once you've seen his work, I'm sure you're kind of, you'd be familiar with it. But like, I've always wanted to own something of Tony's. So that right there, man. Yeah. It's going to be cool. And I just feel like it'll be nice having kind of a definitive Batman the Animated Series figure. I've got a lot of the DC Direct ones, but I'm kind of to the point where like, they're not that great. Can't do too much with them. And even then the sculpts aren't amazing. So it comes with like all these cool expressions. So it's supposed to I love that.
Yeah.
I love the shocked face.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll come with a lot of those head sculpts and soft goods. I think it'll be a cool piece. So like I said, it was expensive. It was the most expensive figure I've bought in that scale. So, but I think it'll be worth it. And it's by May Kai, so Tony May.
Yeah.
But
there you go, and you're one of the top comments there too.
No, there you go. Yeah. See. So that'll be sometime next year.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's cool.
Matt, you got anything coming in? You got anything coming in this year?
I mean, I got so much stuff coming in. What do I not have coming in? That's the problem, is that I have a hard time limiting myself to one.
What are you most interested in right now? Is it the
depends on the week.
Legions?
It depends on the week. Before Legions Con, I was going back into Turtles. I'm sorry, John.
It's fine. No problem. I'm not mad.
Lately, it's been Legions that I've been getting into. There was a little period where I was getting into wrestling. Yeah.
Oh, you got that Mattel's creation.
Oh yeah. And then that happened.
Yeah. That's cool though.
Yeah, I mean, what do I have coming in? Tomorrow I have starting lineup. I have 2 figures coming in. I forget which one that is. So that should be a surprise. I'm actually excited.
I know you had a visceral reaction to the Strife pack that just got released by Hasbro.
5-pack, right?
The 5-pack.
Yeah. Because if you want only 1 or 2 figures, you have to buy the 5-pack then, right?
Yeah. And then what are you going to do with the rest?
Right. I mean, they've been doing that a lot, and I totally get it. But when you put it in a 5-pack, it just doesn't sit well, especially after coming off the failed Hasbro, the HasLab.
Yeah.
Which really wanted that to succeed.
You know, I feel like we talked about this a lot, but I was excited about it, then I wasn't excited about it. And then when we got to see it in ToyCon and actually talk to the guys there,
Comic-Con,
at Comic-Con, it really sold me. I mean, like, seeing it in person really sold me. So I'm definitely there's certainly, by the way, there was certainly a part of me that was like, oh cool, 350 isn't coming out of my account right now. Awesome. But there is a part of me that's bummed that we're not going to get that.
Yeah.
You know? Especially after getting Galactus. Like, when you get a HasLab, it's a completely different feeling. You know, there's
It's very true. Yeah. And I don't know. It's we don't need to talk about that, but it's just there's a lot to do with like the marketing side of things, not just the product itself, but you know, these guys that we know, they put their heart and soul in these collectibles, and it's got to be really disappointing when the marketing teams decides it's got to be this much. And hey, this is how we're going to promote it or not promote it, or you know, it's at a certain point it's like out of their hands. Even as much as we'd love to see some of those things, like it's not just the design team, unfortunately, who makes the decision.
I don't think it was the marketing team, right? Like marketing team like Ryan and Dan, right? And the design team is like
sorry. Also, like just from like financials and like what they have to do. Because obviously there's Hasbro and then there's Hasbro Pulse teams, and then you know, it's at the end of the day, it's like how much. I mean, they want to be very profitable on these,
right? Like talking.
Yeah, we could have a whole episode on strategies for Pulse or HasLabs, but
Maybe we'll get Ryan and them on here too. We have that conversation. So.
Yeah, they'd probably be like, yeah, sure,
yeah,
no comment.
So back to the pre-orders. My most recent pre-order that I just placed was that amazing Yamaguchi Spider-Man 2.0.
Oh, that looks nice.
Okay.
The way it poses.
These Spider-Man figures.
You're sick of them, I know, John. I know.
So many Spider-Man figures. So,
but
I'm just stuck that like the Sentinel Spider-Man is like that's this pinnacle Spider-Man to me. Like it's perfect.
Oh, that's my favorite one. That's my pocket figure, right?
Yeah, that's why I had to get it. And I don't know I got it from like Hobby Link Japan or something like that.
Yeah,
and
that's part of my second one.
Who knows when it's actually going to ship? But
like that pose, just sold it for me. I'm like, I gotta get it. I gotta get 2, maybe 3. I don't know.
That's wild.
And the textures on the suit too, because they like I have the cable figure and it has like the little hexagon textures on the actual blue. And
those are sculpted in, right?
Coming in. Yeah, it's sculpted in. It looks amazing. Not a fan of the knees though, but you know what?
Every Spider-Man's got their problem, right? We got the
oh, that's interesting.
The figure
looks like a little kneecap.
Yeah, it's like a little scoop. Somebody said it was like a little scoop. I think it was Chamba who said it was like a little. I don't really like that.
Strange.
I actually like the prototype. That's pretty cool to see it just like that.
That is cool.
So this is the old one. This one compared to the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, see, they got the shoulder figured out.
Yeah.
The knee, that's still a weird solution.
I think it's better than the first one, but yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know.
I mean, again, it's one of those things that you have to keep in mind the brand or the toy company that's making it. It's like these are beautiful because of the range of motion and the poses you can put into them versus other figures where it's like, hey, it just looks really great when it's just in a vanilla pose.
Yeah.
Just museum pose.
For me, it's
the
shoulder area.
Shoulders and you want Spider-Man's got to do that, right?
Right.
So you want a figure that can move like that. So there's definitely like a balance where it's aesthetics. And I know at Super 7 they talk about this quite a bit on the Ultimates line, like interviews with Brian.
Yeah,
he's like, hey, look, you can't have both. And we chose to kind of split the difference, but also have like decent articulation, but we want it to look accurate. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the most recent one that I can think of. I have something coming in every week though. So.
Oh, did you guys? I remember a pre-order that I have from 2 years ago.
Oh,
can you guess what it is?
Is it Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton Mezco Batman.
Did it ship?
No.
All right.
Never gonna ship.
Well, you said it like you got an email because Mezco's sending out emails. I got an email today about the Captain Nemo set is coming out.
It is.
Yeah. I think they're just hoping that people forget about
the Wave Rider is coming out. Yeah.
Oh, cool. the actual
not the crew members. That's not shipping, but
I don't know if I got the Wave Rider.
Wave Rider. I don't think you did because I think we said what do we really need 2 of those for? But who knows?
But I went crazy on the crew. I think I got like 6 or 8.
Oh yeah, no, I think I definitely got 2 sets of the crew for sure.
6 or 8.
Yeah, because
really?
Are you gonna count those as your dependents?
I should, right?
Along with Galactus and Sentinel.
Yeah, with Galactus and the Sentinels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wednesday, January 15th, 2020 was when my process was being ordered for Batman.
And what's the holdup for that? Is just licensing approval on
that? I don't think they said, have they? If they have, I've missed it.
I don't think they've officially said, but people I've heard that it's because of the seamless suit body or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing.
Tough.
Another pre-order I forgot. I'm kind of going through. I will save them in my email. So another pre-order, a Kickstarter campaign. The Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Did you guys check those out?
I saw that in
they had them at Legion's Con.
Yeah, they had a Legion's Con. Those are cool.
Yeah.
I ordered a set of those. Well, not a set, but like three 3-pack, I think. So excited about that. Yeah.
Well, while we're getting the Hasbro team on the line, maybe we get Mezco on the line here too. We'll just call him up and tell him we got notes. We got notes for him. We get over here. We got some notes.
I don't think anybody can get Mezco on their show.
Let's try.
Probably not. I don't think Mez actually does many interviews.
Yeah.
So. Probably gets the same questions all the time.
We get a good deep fake, I'm sure, if we really needed to.
I don't even know what he looks like.
Well, even better. Who's gonna say it's not him? Oh. All right, so Matt, you mentioned that you're using Sentinel Spider-Man as your pocket fig. Jason, who's your pocket fig this week?
Oh, I thought you said Sentinel as your pocket fig.
Yeah, that was my transition. That was Sentinel Spider-Man.
I know, and you said Sentinel. I was thinking Sentinel Marvel Legends.
I was thinking, I'm like, how am I putting that in my pocket?
Denko jeans are coming back, man. You could just, shove a Sentinel in your pocket.
For real. It's so I work from here in the house, in my business. I just work out of my office downstairs, so I don't generally take a figure to the office with me. I usually have. Well, I guess I do. So I guess it could be considered a pocket fig. The one I wanted to show you, which is actually kind of 3 that I just got.
Yeah.
These actually could fit well in your pocket, but again, going back through and finding old figures that I had that I don't have anymore, or we sold or got rid of, we're just lost. This was one that I found recently, and it just got here today.
Oh wow!
DC, the Superpowers.
Yeah.
Batman, and it's in pretty good shape. His foot's a little wonky, so I've got to I've tried to heat that up a little bit today, but I need to do that again.
Core memory unlocked here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so it actually came with, as a lot, came with these 3 right here.
Yeah. Oh wow. I could feel the plastic on the ring on the cape that clicks.
Right.
I could feel it in my hands. Yeah.
I know exactly this little right here.
Yep. Yeah.
The little collar. Yep.
Oh my god.
So these are fun. It's funny. This afternoon, around lunchtime, I cleaned these guys up and cleaned off the capes, and man, they're in pretty decent shape. They look good. I realized that unfortunately Robin actually has 2 left legs from the knee down.
What?
So maybe I got screwed. I don't know.
Maybe it's a variant you just found.
Yeah.
The chase.
I had those figures too.
Yeah, they're fun, man. It's good stuff. And then I found an eBay seller who makes replica capes. So I've got one for Superman on its way. So nice. Should arrive this weekend. So that would be I would say Batman for sure that's my pocket fig for this week. So good stuff. I love it. All those old figures, man. It's funny when I just walk into this room, just like, oh, I love seeing all these toys that I have, or toys that give me that same nostalgia, from the Super 7 stuff to the NECA stuff to the actual figures on the card.
Mm-hmm. I love that you have your shelves there, right? Your turtle shelves specifically. It's mimicking the second level, right? So you've got the old school ones and then the new ones. That's really cool.
Yeah, these little guys right here. My originals. Yeah, and that's fun. I mean, I've got 2 giant bins over there with the Technodrome and the Turtle Van. And,
oh my god, yeah.
Those are my actual toys. My brother and mine are toys that we played with, and these are my original figures. And so there's just something really cool about having that stuff. Oh, and also I should mention, so Thundercats right here, Super 7 is made like these. Golly, this is what a figure right here. If you're into Thundercats, and these are great. These are my favorite. But anyway, my parents came and visited and brought along this old playset.
Oh wow!
And this was mine as a kid, and it's cool seeing these in hand and in person again. But yeah, they brought that, and so I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but it's cool. I remember
that was the appeal of that was the bum rot changing, right? You flipped it around,
yeah,
yeah,
like that, and then you would close the door and then turn it, and then he would disappear, and you put Mumra, the everlasting or ever living or whatever, in there. So yeah, it's a cool little. It's hard doing this stuff backwards. Ugh. Yeah. So I pulled this one especially out to have on display for tonight, and then the Super 7 guys just look really great in that more cartoon style. So in Mumra. So yeah, again going back to the roots, going back to the old figures we had as kids, and just that excitement of just kind of reliving that. So
yeah, nice.
It's good stuff.
Matt, who's your pocket fig lately?
Like the Sentinel Spider-Man. I mean, I did.
It's been your fig all year.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I basically work from home unless I'm traveling with you and on shoots, and like the last one I forgot to bring one. You know,
that's right.
I had Fern.
You had to go buy it. You had to go buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that post. Like, I don't have a pocket fig. Who am I gonna get? Like, Vern was perfect.
Perfect figure.
Yeah.
We shot Vern out of a confetti cannon. Yeah, it was good.
Did you?
Hey, he survived. 2 shots.
He held up. So, yeah.
2 shots.
He survived, but not the talent.
No,
not the talent. Not the talent. Sorry.
I've been playing with this. I mean, I can't put this down. Like the dark turtle. He's
Thank
I don't
you
know, just
very much. Thank you so much for securing this for me.
And I even picked up Tiny Tantrum. Tiny Tantrum made a new head sculpt.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I picked that up. That came up. Just came in this week.
Oh, that's great.
Tantrum. Yeah, and then it was actually pretty cool because with every order he included just the cowl too. So you wanted to have it where it's just he's holding it type of thing. So that was cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's also what I love about that line is that you can take and put the different mouths from the original turtles on that same figure. Yeah. So you got different expressions. You could even be smiling. But yeah, the design of that where you can take the top of the head, the eyes and the bandana and remove that from the bottom is brilliant.
It always makes me nervous when you pop it out for the first time. But
yeah.
So you can separate it that way. So
engineering, man, it's so cool.
Smart. And then we were, I was complaining about this before the stream, but being sick and in and out of Walgreens, came across this Clone Trooper, who I think just got released this week.
Oh wow. Kidding.
But they had one in store and just picked it up, but it's a Clone Trooper. It's fine. It's fun. It's just painted. That's it. There's nothing to it.
I mean, I have a bunch of them over there.
Ooh, look at that.
Where are they? They're down.
Ooh, I like that. You can get your walls back there. Nice stuff.
Yeah, but apparently just keep falling, so I just put them on there.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's I love the troopers. I love the troopers.
Troopers and droids, K2SO is always on my desk.
I love K2.
Oh, he's another good one. That's a good figure.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, my light went out. Interesting.
Oh. Well, if your light went out, then that means it's time to go.
Last call.
That's it. Let's call. But yeah.
So, should we do plugs?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's nice that we can shine a light on new talent like Jason and work more or less here and let our 5 viewers at this point make sure they're following. Sure,
1, 2, 3.
Hey, my mom's gonna watch.
Yeah, but the dog's watching upstairs. I forced him to. So.
I love it. Yeah, it's kind of what you guys were mentioning. The fact that we're able to see each other in person.
Yeah.
Outside of knowing each other through Instagram and just in the community, it's been so great. And the fact that we're great friends now, and you obviously get to hang out without me, but it's fun to be on and just talk about all the stuff that we love. And
Yeah.
Just kind of share that common bond and, hopefully keep each other accountable as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. I won't stop. I mean, I feel like at this point, it would be a sad day if I decided, oh, I'm not going to be a collector, or I'm going to stop taking photos, or maybe slow down, or like there's up and downs, right?
Yeah.
But there's just something about this that's really, it brings me so much joy. And I think a lot of us probably put that on hold as we were kind of coming of age, and before we could lock down if we a significant other. For some of us, like, okay, I want to make sure I can, lock this down, and then eventually pull out the nerdiness and be okay with that. And it's like, hey, you're in it for life. So, but yeah, it's such a fun thing to do, and to be able to find other friends who kind of share the same love for the hobby. And there's a lot of joy I get from this. So I can't see myself not doing it, even years from now. So
we say it all the time, right? It's the community more than anything else, and it's just being able to talk with people and learn
100%.
from someone like you, and get the opportunity to take what we learn from this into our real life and our real jobs.
Mhm.
It's awesome, and it further instills it's all a part of us, right? And
Yeah,
we never should have stopped playing and collecting, but for some reason, like you said, we did, and I'm just glad we're back into it, and we're back.
me too,
here.
man.
So,
Me too. Yeah, it's crazy. All just the opportunities that it opens up, and the opportunities to get together and just hang out. Like that's been really great. And just other things that have happened is like, okay, if I never would have picked up this Black Series figure, then none of this would have happened. So that's kind of crazy to think about it that way.
Yeah.
Are you going to San Diego next year?
Yeah, I've got my pro badge, and so
Oh.
it means I'm secured a ticket this year. I think I need to re-up it next year, but that's the plan. My wife I keep telling her, like, hey, I've got my tickets available. I could buy that. She's like, well, our son, we've got he's got like state finals for swimming that month, or I think that week.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel bad, but she's like, you can still go. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've seen him swim state before, but so there's part of me that's like, oh man, should I not do this? Am I being tricked? Decision? Like, tell me what to do. But we'll see. I mean, the nice thing is I do have a ticket that's kind of available, so
that's good.
I'd like to make that happen. It'd be good. So
we unfortunately missed out on tickets, but I think we're just gonna go and
just go fly there.
Yeah, just go and hang out and see what happens. So
hey,
you can't be at the con all the time, so you can hang out with us.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well,
that's the thing. The past few times I've been, if you're going full day, it's just exhausting and it hurts.
Yeah.
And just like other cons I'm sure you guys have been to as well, I think this time around, I feel like I've seen a lot of things. If I don't make it to some of the panels, like, I'm not going to worry about it. And so I think this time around, it's going to be more about like, hey, let's do those meetups. Let's get together. Let's walk, let's meet up with friends, go walk and see part of the floor, but it's not so much about seeing all the reveals once they're revealed. It's just like just being there and kind of a place to all converge. So yeah, if you guys go, there'll definitely plenty of things we could do and just hang out outside of the actual con. So
yeah, I mean,
hopefully we can see each other before then.
Hopefully. Yeah.
We'll find an excuse.
We gotta go back to Nebraska, right?
I think Nebraska's our middle ground.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with Mr. Fox.
Mr. Fox. He's fantastic.
That's not even his made up name. That's his real name. That's the scary thing. So, all right, cool. Well, I mean, obviously, Jason, if everybody finds you at work more or less. Matchutoy, J-Shot, and we got to start saying this. Click the like and subscribe button. That's new.
Yeah.
That's new for us. That's new.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's new. Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, everything's here. Somewhere. Find it. Click it. Wherever. Yeah. But cool. Jason, appreciate the hell out of you for coming on.
Hey, anytime.
And learning this format with us. So, thanks for being our test pilot with us.
Yeah, of course. I'll talk to you guys anytime you want. So just
Awesome.
let me know.
We're gonna hold you to that. You're gonna regret.
I'll call you in 5 minutes.
No, yeah.
I'll probably answer too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you would. I'm not gonna call you.
8:14 at 4 a.m. Matt, you gotta stop. So,
You know, I was actually thinking we should probably do like a live where we're all working on a shot. That would be cool.
Yeah.
that'd be interesting.
or
Right.
one of
Shooting
us
the
is
same
working on a
figure.
shot and everybody's just giving feedback.
Yeah.
There you
No, move it to the left. No, move it to the right. Put it back. All right.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
thanks again, guys. It's always a pleasure to be able to chat with you and be able to do this for the show too. This is exciting. So
Yeah. Well, we're definitely excited, and we're definitely excited to be done with episode 1. So now we can tweak it and go back and make episode 2 better. But hell of a
nice.
way to kick it off. So thank you, Jason, and thanks for everybody who's watching now, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.